question is now, can we take these sales after all the evidence and confluence that we have found? The answer should be yes. Traders, so we're back again with another video. Now today I'm just going to be answering the question, how can we identify that a currency is strong? Because a lot of people are asking me in the comments, Rocks, you keep talking about a currency being strong and you're helping yourself find confluence by looking at other pairs. Do you use a strength meter? Do you use any indicators? I mean, no. The answer is no. So what we're going to do today is we're going to focus on how we can do that. I'm going to give you one example on a USD CAD trade that you could have taken this week, because the big question is, did you take advantage of some of the moves that USD CAD has offered? This pair specifically has been moving so beautifully. I mean, it's just been like a ballerina, so easy to trade. We're going to look at an example and we're going to discuss with you how we can identify currency strength and currency weakness to then validate taking a trade. So let's head over to the charts as we usually do, and let's take a look at this example. So the big question here today is this USD CAD trade, which happened yesterday, was you able to take advantage of it? Now, to be brutally honest with you, it's not a very difficult decision to make, especially if you understand how to identify currency strength and currency weakness. You don't need a strength meter because the strength meters are useless. They only indicate the strength of a currency after the pair has moved. Make sure you remember that. Just like our video yesterday, indicators, in my opinion, are a waste of time because they only indicate to you when the market has moved or after the market has moved, just like a currency strength meter. So all these videos about use the currency strength meter, it's going to help you to take your trades, blah, blah, blah. I'm just telling you now, it's not. The way to identify trades is what I'm going to teach you today. So the question is, can we take this USD CAD trade? Well, we need to find out a few things first. Now, as we can clearly see, over the past, let's say, week or so, we know that USD CAD has been pushed into the downside. There's been a very strong trend to indicate bearish sentiment here, lower lows and lower highs. Now, as we start to zoom in on intraday structure, we can see the market has previously broken highs here, indicating a retest, potential higher low to then form a higher high, which has formed. Okay, we're not disregarding this. But as we know, the overall sentiment on the higher time frames is indicating to us that the sentiment is potentially changing from being bullish to bearish. And what we anticipate the market to do is eventually create a lower high and then look for a continuation down. Especially when price comes back into a wick rejection area in the market, where we see price tap in, we can now start to say to ourselves, well, there's a very high chance that the market's going to continue bearish. So now that we see that, we're scaling down to, let's say, an entry time frame. On this occasion, the 30-minute time frame, we need to make this decision. Now let's mark the time of this trade here at 1:30, or potential trade at 1:30. And let's see if we can find some supporting evidence why this would continue down as opposed to go up or move sideways. So the time of this candle is 1:30. Let's head over to supporting evidence, confluence of currency strength. So we're now over here at CADJPY. Now what we want to identify in CADJPY is a very strong trend to the upside to indicate CAD strength. We also want to identify that at the time that we plan to take the trade, which is at 1:30, that there's evidence here of wick rejections or bullish candles. Bullish candles represent CAD strength. Wick rejections represent the depletion in yen strength and the continued momentum or behavior, bullish behavior in CAD. So we can see that the trend is up. We can see price has created a higher low, creating a double bottom here. Nice trading opportunity here, to be brutally honest with you. We know in the back of our minds that the CAD is strong, and now we're gathering evidence to support that. At the time we plan to take the trade, it's at 1:30. We can see that the previous behavior of this candle indicated to us that it attempted to push bearish and failed, illustrating a continuation of CAD strength. And if we take a look at the time at around 1-ish, we just say 1-ish, 1:30-ish, Here we have strong supporting evidence of CAD strength. So if we go back over to USD CAD, we can see at 130, we have the retest of previous structure, the break close below previous structure to indicate a continuation of this bearish trend. We have a bullish behavior at 1 o'clock and bearish behavior at 1:30. To support that evidence of CAD strength, we go over to CADJPY or any pair. You just need to find 2 or 3 confluences. We understand here that this is a wick rejection on the hourly time frame, and the behavior at this moment in time is bullish. Now, this in the back of our mind signals to us that if this candle closes bullish, there's a very high chance that price is going to continue pushing up. So that supports our USD CAD strength. Now we need to figure out if the dollar is weak. So what do? We move over to another pair, and let's take a look at pound USD. So we're now on pound USD. We need to identify that the pound is stronger than the dollar. To indicate that, we will need to see the market pushing bullish. So we can see the previous behavior. The market was trending down. We were making lower lows and lower highs. Price was failing to break structural lows here, indicating a depletion in bearish sentiment, so dollar strength. And now we start to identify here price breaking above structure. This is now starting to indicate to us dollar weakness, meaning that if we're planning to sell USD CAD, with the evidence we gathered from CADJPY, which was bullish strength, evidence that we're gathering from USD CAD, which is CAD strength, dollar weakness, and now we take a look at pound USD, we can validate the USD weakness by identifying strong bullish sentiment here with the pound and the weakness with the dollar. So we not only have weakness, we have a huge wick rejection, and at the time we plan to take the trade, we can see that there's a lot of bullish sentiment indicating that the dollar's weakening. Now, once we've gathered this information, what we can expect at this moment in time is that if this closes with a strong wick rejection, we can see on USD CAD that the markets are retesting structure and forming almost an identical retest of previous structure, then there's a very high chance that the markets can continue to push up on pound USD. Now, we're not worried if we get in a trade here on pound USD, but what we want to know once we gather this evidence from this point at 130, is it okay to take the trade on USD CAD? Well, let's rehearse this one more time. We identify that the overall trend is down. We see the break close below structure indicating CAD strength. CADJPY, we can indicate at the time that we plan to take the trade that there's strong bullish sentiment, meaning CAD strong. And at the time that we plan to take the trade, we can also validate that the dollar is weak, meaning that if we want to sell USD CAD, this is a perfect opportunity to take a trade, and at the perfect time. Now, just to validate this trade, we need to figure out our patterns and our processes. And our simple patterns and processes: price creating a structural high, we're not worried about multiple wick rejections, but failing to make a new high. We have a break close below the previous higher low, indicating bearish sentiment. While we're in a push phase, we're waiting for the pullback, lower high for a continuation to make a lower low. Even better, we have the pullback, we have wick rejections, and we have a retest of previous structure, and we also have a strong bearish close. The question is now, can we take these sells after all the evidence and confluence that we have found? The answer should be yes. So we take the trade, and as you can clearly see here, that the market more than likely will continue to push in your direction. And that is what you call a solid trade. So I hope you found this useful. It's going to take some practice, but if you can just identify the strength of the currency you plan to trade using another currency pair and the weakness of a currency that you plan to sell or buy against, validate that around the same time that you plan to take the trade, you're not only going to be able to add patterns, processes, structure and behavior to your arsenal, you're also going to be able to be a master at recognizing currency strength and weakness and find the prime opportunities to be entering your trades. So I really do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, smash that like button for me, turn on notifications, subscribe if you haven't, and until next time, continue to trust the process.